Hey everybody, Coach James Berry here. Okay, question today. What does it look like to become a high-level performer? Or how do you know if you're on track to becoming a high-level performer? This is a question I get a lot as a high-performance coach who's been around hundreds of college athletes. Well, number one, first thing I'm going to ask you is, what's your goal? What have you set out to achieve? Where are you at right now in terms of your commitment level? And then how do we get you from there to being all in on this, right? And so what does it mean to be all in on your goal? Well, it comes down to your lifestyle. It comes down to your habits, right? Habits ultimately are what rule the world, okay? People with the best habits, sustained over the longest periods of time, are the ones that always elevate in the long run. All right, so in the context of competitive golf, what are the two things you have to have as a top priority? Practice, number one, and performance skills, right? So on-course skills. So is your top priority right now improving in practice and taking that practice and those skills onto the golf course? That has to be a top level priority, and that's going to require the majority of your time during the day, right? So your waking hours during the daylight had better be spent improving practice and performance. Okay, secondarily is all the pieces that support that lifestyle, right? So your nutrition, your fitness, your sleep, your rest, your recovery, your mindset work. How committed are you to each of those topics? How committed are you to learning about that and learning what works best for you and then implementing those things day after day to support this lifestyle, which is going to be very difficult, right? Playing and practicing at a very high level for long periods of time will require incredible amounts of energy and focus, okay? So how do you do that? You treat your body like a professional athlete would. Right? You make the appropriate sacrifices, you get yourself into a nice rhythm in terms of your sleep and your recovery, and you stay healthy, right? That's what's going to allow you to continue pushing the needle of practice and performance over long periods of time, right? Okay, so where do people go wrong? Well, what I see is you get an athlete who sets a particular goal and they have a starting point, and if this is being all in over here, maybe they only get halfway there. At that point, they're only halfway committed. Maybe that means their practice isn't great or their recovery is not great. They just can't sustain high level performance over long periods of time. And so what happens? They start going after a shortcut, right? So they start using one of these accessories, as I like to call them, as a way to catch up to their competition that is, passed them way by. Maybe they start obsessing over a particular, swing or swing flaw, or they're going after a swing trainer, or maybe they just hit it a long way and so they lean into that. And inevitably, you start to hear the excuses come out of why they can't do this or why they can't do that. Ultimately, all they needed to do was become 100% committed to achieving this goal and then learning the daily habits that would sustain them for long periods of time so that they could just continue building the skills, elevating their weaknesses, right? That, to me, is what being all in really means. And that's the only way, that's the only path to high-level performance that's sustained over long periods of time. So if you're wondering why you're not getting better or the competition is moving past you, take 5 minutes, take 15 minutes, sit down, examine your habits, think about what you do, and try to figure out how could you become a higher-level achiever in all of these things you're doing day to day, right? And if you don't know much about nutrition or your fitness or sleep or recovery, man, these are big areas. Maybe you don't think about it all the time as it pertains to on-course performance, but they can definitely support your endeavor if you just get them right. It will allow you longer periods of time with high-level focus, high-level practice. That's what will bring your skills up. So if you're not getting the most out of your game right now, look at your habits, look at your lifestyle. I could almost promise you, mostly everybody can take another step forward toward being all in. And once you're all in, man, that's when your performance and your skills and everything start to elevate really fast, right? Because everything in your life, everything that you're doing, all the steps that you're taking, it just becomes a snowball, right? And once the snowball starts rolling, all these pieces of performance start to just come together. And that's when you see it, just the rocket shot up. But if you're not there yet, if you're only halfway committed, don't look for a shortcut. Don't look for an accessory that's going to help you, right? Don't make excuses. Just make the commitment of being all in and go for it.